Good morning, friends. Today we are going to start chapter number 12, electricity. We will understand what is electricity, what is current, what produces electric current in metals. We'll understand the concept of electric current and voltage, and we'll also see the structure of the atom and how it helps to constitute electric current. So let us begin. Electricity is the most convenient source of energy. Why? Because it is easy to generate and transport. Electricity can be made up from solar energy by a solar cell, in a thermal power plant, by a windmill, by the wind energy, by the hydro energy, that is the power of the water in the dam, and by tidal energy. Electricity can be made. It is easy to generate and it can be transported through wires from one place to another. Also, the interconversion of electricity into many other forms of energy makes it the most versatile form of energy. We can convert electricity into light energy, as in a light bulb or tube light, into sound energy, as in a loudspeaker. We can convert electricity to heat energy, as in electric iron, a microwave oven, and chemical energy, as in electrolytic refining in metallurgy. So we can conclude that electricity is the most versatile form of energy. Before we move to electric current, let us understand what is current. Current is a continuous flowing movement. Current is a continuous flowing movement. So in a river or stream, there is a continuous flow of water called the water current. In breeze and wind, there is a continuous flow of air called the air current. So similarly, in electric current, there is a continuous flow of charge. But if you see all the massive body around us, like the tables, the chairs, the bottles, the speaker, the TV, these massive bodies are made up of molecules. And molecules in terms are made up of atoms. So what are atoms made up of? Atoms are made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons. The protons are positively charged, neutrons are neutral, and electrons are negatively charged. Since these massive bodies, the number of protons, that is the positive charge, and the number of electrons, that is the negative charge, are equal, they nullify each other, and hence most materials are neutral. If the materials are neutral, then for the current to flow, where do the charges come from? This is a rough idea of the structure of the atom. This is a smaller atom, as you can see, with fewer electrons, but the atoms of metals usually have more orbits. They have more orbits around them, bigger and bigger orbits. The atoms of metals have more orbits. The electrons revolve around the nucleus. The electrons are held by the electrostatic force of attraction of the nucleus. The positive charge of the nucleus is holding the negatively charged electron in the orbit. But as the atomic size increases, this is a wrong diagram, rough diagram, but as the atomic size, you can see, as the atomic size increases, the distance between the nucleus and the electron has increased. As the distance between the nucleus and the electron increases, the force of attraction decreases. Did you follow? In the bigger orbits, as the distance of the electron from the nucleus increases, the distance increases, the force of attraction becomes lesser. Now at room temperatures, the electron achieves kinetic energy due to the heat. It starts to vibrate, achieves kinetic energy, and if the kinetic energy can overcome the electrostatic force of attraction, the electron will separate from the atom. If this electron has enough energy to overcome the electrostatic force of attraction, this electron will separate from the atom. These electrons are called free electrons. They can move freely in the metal, but they cannot leave the metal. The atom has now become positively charged and the free electron has a negative charge. This is a diagram of a metal expanded view. The orange dots are the atoms. In a metal, the atoms are very closely packed. The blue dots are the free electrons, the electrons which have separated from the atom. So the positive charge, that is the atom, the orange dot, is closely packed and hence cannot move. It is this negative electrons whose movement give rise to electric current. So as you can see, these electrons, free electrons, are moving freely, and a moving charge will give rise to an electric current. Metals usually have a large number of free electrons that move around freely. So do metals have electricity? If you touch any plate of metal, if you touch a metal spoon or plate, do you feel any electric current? No. There are a lot of free electrons in a metallic plate or spoon. And why you do not feel the current? The free moving electrons should give rise to an electric current, as you observe the diagram. But you see in the diagram, the free electrons are moving randomly. Some are going down, some are going up, some are going right, some are going left. They are moving randomly. So the net current passing through a surface area, net current passing through a surface area the net current passing through a surface area will be zero. So there is no current flowing through the conductor. So to observe the electric current, we need to make the electrons flow in one direction. As you can see in the figure, the electrons are now moving in one direction. But what makes these electrons flow in one direction? Can it happen if you tilt the spoon or plate? Yes, the plate is horizontal. If you make it vertical, will the electrons start to move in one direction? Will you feel the current? No. Then what makes the electrons flow in one direction? So to make the electrons flow in one direction, an external energy needs to be provided. Some external energy needs to be provided to make the electrons flow in one direction. Who provides this energy? Yes, the electric cell, the battery, or a power connection from the socket in our house can provide that energy. We will see later how electric cell provides the energy. For now we pay our attention to the electric current. Current, as all the electrons with the negative charges are flowing in one direction. So when these free electrons flow in one direction, it gives rise to an electric current. So if you saw previously, all the metals have free electrons, but they do not show electric current because the electrons are moving randomly, so the net charge flowing through a conductor is zero. Electric current we can only see when all the electrons start to flow in one direction, when an external source of energy is provided. Now, Electric current can only flow in a closed circuit. Now this is a circuit for you. If you see the circuit, it has a battery, it has got a key, it has got a ammeter. The ammeter measures electric current. It is always connected in series with the circuit. It is always connected in series in the circuit. This is a resistance which we will study later, and this is a voltmeter. A voltmeter is always connected in parallel and it measures the potential difference. We will come back to that later on, but what you can see here, this is an open circuit where the key is open, so current cannot flow through an open circuit. Here the key is closed and the current flows through a closed circuit. A continuous and closed path of an electric current is called an electric circuit. Electric current can flow only in a closed circuit. So the net charge, how do we calculate the charge? Net charge. If you recall, the charge of one electron is 1.9 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. So the number of electrons which flow through the cross section area of this conductor in 1 second will give rise to an electric current. So the total charge Q, how we calculate Q? The number of electrons multiplied by the charge of one electron. The net charge flowing through the conductor in unit time is called electric current. Again, the net charge flowing through the conductor in unit time is called electric current. The symbol of current is I, whose unit is ampere, given as A. The symbol of charge is Q and its unit is coulomb C, and time is given in second, whose unit is S. So when 1 coulomb charge, when 1 coulomb charge passes through cross section area of a conductor in 1 second, the current is 1 ampere. Okay, so when 1 coulomb charge passes through the cross section area of a conductor in 1 second, the current is 1 ampere. An instrument called ammeter measures electric current. So as we saw before, it is always connected in series through the current which is to be measured. In a circuit, electrons flow from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. The direction of electric current. In the previous circuit, we had not indicated the direction of electric current. The direction of electric current, the conventional current, is from positive side of the battery to the negative side. But in actual world, the negative charge electrons are flowing from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. The unit of ampere is current, but we use smaller units. 1 milliampere is 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. 1 microampere is 10 raised to minus 6 ampere. Now this diagram we saw before also. the electrons are flowing in one direction. Yes. So the net charge passing through the cross-section area in a unit time give rise to electric current. Now, what makes the electrons flow in one direction? As we had discussed before, an external energy provides the energy to the electrons to flow in one direction. So to understand the concept of potential, the external energy, the voltage, we will first take a brief introduction of non-contact forces. Why is the context used here? We'll just see. The mechanical force is a contact force, is that when you pull or push an object. But a non-contact force is applied even without the contact of the object. The non-contact forces that we know are gravitational force, electrostatic force, magnetic force. Michael Faraday gave the field theory. Non-contact forces come into play when a particle enters such a field. For example, a body in the gravitational field will experience a force of gravity. If the body is outside the gravitational field, it won't experience gravity and will float in space. Similarly, any magnetic substance inside the magnetic field of a magnet will experience a force. A magnetic substance kept far from the magnet does not experience any force. So what is the field here? The space or region around a charged body, the space or region around a charged body within its influence can be felt by another charge is known as the electric field of the charged body. So as we can see, any charge outside the electric field will experience no force. As seen in the figure, there is an electric field around a positive charge. There is a unit positive charge outside the field which does not experience any force. This charge does not experience any force because it is outside this electric field. When this unit charge is taken towards the electric field, it will experience no force till it is outside the field. But when it reaches the field, it will experience a repulsive force. Why repulsive force? Because this charge is also positive and this charge is also positive. And positive charges repel each other. So when the unit charge reaches the electric field, it will experience a repulsive force. Now to move the charge further against the repulsive force, some external work needs to be done. It is similar to compressing a spring. When we compress the spring, we apply more force than the power of the spring. So when we compress the spring, we lose energy and the spring gains energy. Similarly, if work is done to move the unit charge inside the electric field, then the unit charge will gain some energy called its potential energy or just electric potential. So electric potential at a point in an electric field. Electric potential at a point in the electric field Electric potential at the point in the electric field is defined as the work done in moving a unit positive charge from infinity to a point in the electric field. What is infinity? Any point outside any point outside the electric field is called infinity. So again we define electric potential at any point in an electric field is defined as the work done in moving a unit positive charge from infinity to that point in the electric field. If W be the work done in moving a charge from sorry, if W be the work done in moving a charge Q from infinity to a point in the electric field, then the electric potential at that point is given by P is equal to W by Q. Again, what is W? It is work done to move the charge from infinity to a given point in the electric field. And what is Q? Q is the charge which is moved from infinity to the given point in the electric field. So the formula we have is V equal to W by Q. So the definition of volt is the work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to a given point in the electric field is the potential. The symbol of potential is V and the unit is also volt as V. W is the work done whose unit is joule and Q is the charge whose unit is coulomb. So how do we define 1 volt? If the work done to bring 1 coulomb charge from infinity to a given point in an electric field is 1 joule, the electric potential is 1 volt. So if the work done to bring 1 coulomb charge, if the work done to bring 1 coulomb charge, yes, if the work done to bring 1 coulomb charge from infinity to a given point in the electric field is 1 joule. 1 joule, then the potential is 1 volt. Electric potential is a scalar quantity. Charges flow in a conductor due to the difference in potential at the two ends. So, what is potential difference? The word I used. Suppose we have 2 points in the electric field. You will observe that the repulsive force at position 1 is lesser than the electric force, repulsive force at position 2. So work is needed to move the positive charge from position 1 to position 2. So we can define electric potential difference as electric potential difference between 2 points in an electrical circuit carrying current is the work done to move a unit positive charge from one point to the other. So you can see when I move the positive charge from point 1 to point 2, the particle has gained electric potential. Potential difference is measured by the means of an instrument called the voltmeter. It is always connected in parallel across the points which the potential is to be measured. 1 millivolt is 10 raised to minus 3 volt. 1 microvolt is 10 raised to 6 volt. 1 kilovolt is 10 raised to 3 volt. And 1 megavolt is 10 raised to 6 volt. So the batteries, the electric cell, the source of power in our house, they all have potential which makes the electrons flow in one direction, giving rise to the electric current. So let us recall the formula we did today. I is equal to Q by T, that is definition of electric current. The net charge passing through the cross section area of a conductor in unit time is called current. The unit of current is ampere. The next formula, V is equal to W by Q. The work done in moving a unit positive charge from infinity to a given point in an electric field is the electric potential. Its unit is voltage V. I guess this is enough for the day. Go through the video again and recall all the concepts and the formula. Thank you.